Some days back, Google has released Gemma 4, which is their most capable open weight models that you can even run offline on your computers. And in fact, that is built for that. These models are relatively smaller and efficient and fast that you can run it even on hardware like Raspberry Pi. Alright, so this is a blog post that Google released on Gemma 4, byte for byte, the most capable open models. Now you see that this is a collection of models. There are a bunch of models that Google has released with this. And if you scroll down in this blog post over here, you will get some benchmarks right over here, comparing it with Gemma 3. So see, I'm going to also tell you how do you think about these models, right? Because these namings at times gets confusing. Look at this. It says Gemma 4 31B IT, right? And these models over here have this A4B and E4B and E2B sort of things, right? So what this is, the first one that we are seeing, which is also like, the best over here, it has 31 billion parameters inside the model and all of the parameters are active. So think of parameters as, technically I need a longer video for this. I have done actually one of the videos. You can check it out here, which goes into internals of like how a large language model actually works. It's actually a pretty cool video. But technically the way this works is that parameters, think of it as small neurons in your brain, right? This is not exactly the right analogy, but just stay with me for a minute. When a token comes in, like when a word or a sentence or whatever comes in, the large language model has to make a decision on what is the second word or what is the next word, which is going to be its output, right? That is decided by the number of parameters there are. So the more number of parameters which are active for making the decision, generally speaking, the higher the quality is based on, all other factors are same. So this Gemma 4 31 billion model, which is there, this is a dense model. What this means is that this has all 31 billion parameters active on every token, right? So whenever you are making a decision, whenever this model is making a decision, it uses all the 31 billion parameters which are there. Let's look at this next, right? So Gemma 4, 26 billion A4B model over here, right? So what it is saying is that it is a 26 billion parameter model, first of all, the total number of parameters. A4B means that active are 4 billion parameters. So at any given decision point, it's not going to activate more than 4 billion parameters, right? So think of again, like your brain, for example, you have like trillions of neurons, for example, but for your decision making, you don't have to activate every single part of your brain, right? I don't know if you have seen, but our brain also works in a similar way, right? It will activate neural paths in specific region of the brain. It's not like every single time you are seeing something or, looking at something or hearing something, it activates your whole brain. It only activates parts of that brain. So, right. So that is what this is also in a way. So it activates 4 billion parameters per token. And then it keeps rest of the, whatever parameters are not required, they are not activated. But what this active means is that all the 26 billion parameters are loaded into the memory, right? So at any given time, any set of 4 billion parameters can be used. So you need to load all the 26 billion parameters into the memory of the GPU, the system that you're using. That means that there are no memory savings as such here. Even though you are activating just 4 billion parameters, you still need to load all of the parameters in the memory, right? Next is this Gemma 4 E4B models, right? And this E2B. And this is where running AI on Raspberry Pi, for example, or even your mobile phone becomes feasible, because these E4B and E2B, these are like effective 4 billion parameters and effective 2 billion parameters. Now, technically speaking, their size over here is not 4 billion. It could be like slightly larger than this. But what it effectively means is that at any given time, they are only loading 4 billion worth of parameters into the memory. And that is what is used for taking the decisions on the token, right? And of course, as we are talking about these local models, running them on the hardware, you would have realized that these are not super powerful models compared to Opus 4.6 or even GPT 5.4 and so on. And if you want to build high quality applications, personal software, stuff that actually is good, you not only need a good model, but you also need a good harness around it, a platform that can help you build those applications. And that is where today's sponsor comes into play, which is Orchids. Orchids is a platform that allows you to build any application that you can think of and host it online as well. You can use your existing ChatGPT or Claude subscriptions with Orchids, and it would work perfectly fine. When you create an account on Orchids, you will be presented with this view where you can just ask it to do whatever you want. For example, one of the applications that I recently built was a simple weight tracker for me. For building this application, I used Claude Opus 4.6 with my subscription, and within a couple of minutes, it was able to create the application from scratch. And of course, this is not a very complex application, but it allows me to do everything that you would expect from a weight tracking application on a day-by-day basis. So I can log my weight for past, and it's going to give me all the relevant metrics on 7-day change, lowest, highest, all of that. And of course, you can prompt it to build more features as you want. This is perfect for building personalized software, stuff that you want for yourself, but it's not available yet in the market. And like I mention all the time, you not only need a smart enough model like Opus 4.6, but you also need a powerful harness to control that. And Orchids on AppBench scores better than even Claude Code. So if you're using Opus with Orchids, that's gonna turn out better than if you're using Opus on Claude Code. Similarly, on the UI bench as well, Orchids build better UI designs. And it's a full stack coding agent. That means not only can you build simple applications that I just showed you right now, but you can even include databases and other third-party services that you need and create an application that works end-to-end. You can start with Orchids completely free of cost, and you can sign up to paid plans as your needs increase. If you want to customize the models of your choice, you can do that from their models page as well, including or excluding the models that you like. And like I mentioned, you can also bring your own subscriptions and API keys. So you don't have to use the AI subscription routed via Orchids. You can even bring your own subscriptions of the platforms. Orchids also offer a friendly community for you to join via Discord. So if you're stuck anywhere on the platform, you can even use their community for support. Once again, thanks to Orchids for sponsoring this part of the video. You will find all the links in the description below to check their platform out. It's a great way to build full stack applications end to end with just prompts. Do check out Orchids, and now back to the video. So let's see if we are able to find for E4B. Yeah, I'm not able to see the exact size, like how many actual parameters are here, but the core idea here is that E4B could have more than 4 billion parameters, but you're effectively loading only this number in the memory, and similarly this one. So this is like even less number of neurons from your brain, right? And that is why you see that the performance actually degrades. So this 31 billion activates every single parameter, for decision making. So it has the best performance overall. That's why you see all these numbers are in bold. That means all of these metrics are better than over here. 26 billion, active 4 billion parameters still perform better because, all the parameters are in the memory. So it can use whatever it wants. Then effective 4 billion parameters is again like worse, and this E2B is the worst, right? In terms of like the Gemma 4 family, but it's still decent. I mean, it's still scoring something, right? Because it's not like it's going down to 0. So we're gonna try out these models. So now let's go ahead and I'm gonna run run Gemma 4 in my terminal. And if you don't know about Ollama, it's basically a very simple way to run these models locally, right? I can probably give you a quick run through. You can just go to ollama.com, just download it. You will have some instructions somewhere over here based on the operating system that you're on. And once you are done with that, you can follow along with me. So look at this. I ran Ollama run Gemma 4. It gave me this prompt, this sort of area. And this is basically whenever I just write some text, something over here, this would be sent to my local Gemma 4. So remember that this is not actually making any API call, unlike, what we are, positioned to be. And that is what our thinking process is, that it's taking time in order to run this. This is actually doing everything offline on my own computer. It's using my own GPU, RAM, all of that, right? So we got this, hello, how can I help you today? And I'm going to say it, let's say just for the sake of testing it out, the thinking process part, because if you go back to the browser, you're going to see that all these Gemma 4 models have this thinking written over here, right? So I'll show you like which model actually we are running, but all of them have thinking. So let's just say, I'm going to say it, can you create a simple Node.js server without any dependencies, right? And hit it. So I'm going to assume that this is going to create some thinking process, right? And as you can see, it's thinking now. Here's a thinking process for fulfilling the user's request. Understand the goal, simple Node.js server, analyze no dependencies. This means only using built-in modules like HTTP. So again, like it's smart enough, right? It's smart enough to understand what I'm saying, and it's creating, it's doing first attempt, then it's reviewing its own code. So all of this is like it's doing thinking. I think this is also the first model that actually does thinking. Previous Gemma models, I'm not sure they did thinking. But as you can see, like once it's done thinking, it now responds me. Yes, absolutely. The most fundamental way to create this is by using built-in HTTP module, which is the right way to go about. And then, it just gives me the code over here. And it gives me some instructions as well. It's still streaming over here. But looking at the code, you just create http.create server, you set the status code, set the header, and you just respond it with something, right? So, the code snippet that it gave me is fine. And it also gave me like a small explanation of the code. And the whole thing is markdown. So again, this terminal itself is not a good enough way for understanding this. But if you are looking at it from a application like, Codex or Cursor or even VS Code, it would work. And again, like I'm just showing you Ollama run using terminal over here, but you can use this with different harnesses as well. So the model is still local, but the harness could be anything that you want. Now let's try to exit it out and let's run Ollama show Gemma 4, right? So when I run this command, you're going to see that it gave me the parameters of 8 billion over here. Right? So if we go back to our model page over here, you're going to see that we have a 31 billion model, we have 26 billion, and we have a E4B and E2B models, right? So there is no 8 billion model over here. And that is where what I told you about, right? This effective 4 billion and effective 2 billion does not really mean that their sizes are 4 billion and 2 billion. It just means that effectively every token is only going to get 4 billion in thinking part, but the model size could be more than that. So we are running this E4B model right now. And when I ran Ollama run Gemma 4, it basically looked at my MacBook. It figured out, what we can run, what is the good model size, whatever. It just used some algorithm of its own and it figured out that I should download this specific E4B model, right? I can force it to download this one and this one as well. But again, on a 16 GB MacBook Pro, this would not really work out very well, right? Because it needs this is an all active model, right? It needs all 31 billion parameters in the memory active. Similarly, with this also, you need 26 billion parameters in the memory active. So it'll not work really well on my system, probably on, a slightly more hardware intense MacBook Pro could run this. But this is how you can effectively run these things offline, right? And now if you think about it, if you look at this generally, obviously these models are not capable enough to completely replace things like Opus and even OpenAI models. But look at these models and look at the things that they are, the way they are able to respond now. This is probably better than the first release that we saw for ChatGPT, right? Do you remember that time in November when, ChatGPT was released for the first time? We were the first few people, mostly a lot of developers and tech people who tried it out. And the responses were not as good as even what we are able to see in Gemma 4 models now. So it's crazy to think what is now possible. And look at this Gemma 4. It has thinking, it has tool calling as well. So it can natively do tool calling, right? Which is pretty cool. Again, like one of the first models in the category. Gemma 3 did not support tool calling as far as I know. It has native audio and vision capabilities as well. Again, super cool, right? And the context length is also pretty decent. And the most important thing, which I think I forgot to mention, is that this model also runs with Apache license. What this means is that there are no such constraints of, you taking permission of Google if you're crossing certain threshold in monthly active users or revenue or whatever, right? You saw that what happened with Kimi K2.5 and Cursor, right? Last week, I created a video. I'll link it somewhere here. It was a sort of like a tech drama, but an interesting one. But that is what you actually are able to avoid if you're using a model like this, which has an Apache license. That just means that any company can take it. They can use it for commercial use cases and they don't have to obviously get permissions and stuff. But yeah, it's pretty cool on, how far we have come across in the AI space that we can run models like Gemma 4 on consumer hardware. Like this can run on my MacBook. I'm sure that this E2B model can run on my iPhone as well, or even, any other smaller phone as well. And this is great, right? This is great for doing automation tasks. You're just telling your phone to do something through a voice note, through an audio, and it's able to do that all on device locally without actually going through any server, which is of course, without saying, is super privacy friendly because none of the data leaves your system. And I feel this is the future of AI computing as well. Of course, there would be centralized compute would be available because we need powerful models to run. But at the same time, because all of us have these powerful handheld devices that can run decent AI, and this is only going to get better, right? From this point, that just gives us a lot of power to run these interesting pieces of software, right? On our fingertips. So yeah, pretty cool. That's all for this video. I hope I was able to deliver some interesting insights and thanks to you. If I did, did, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel. That's all for this one, and I'm gonna see you in the next video very soon. If you're still watching, make sure you leave a comment "I watched till the end" below to tell me that you were still here, and let me know what do you think about the video.